नमस्कार। राजधानी दिल्ली के प्रवासी भारतीय केंद्र में आप सभी का स्वागत है। शनिवार 29 सितंबर 2018 आज से महात्मा गांधी इंटरनेशनल सैनिटेशन कन्वेंशन का शुभ आरंभ हो रहा है। इस 4 दिवसीय सम्मेलन का ये इनॉग्रल प्लीनरी सेशन है, जहां पर अब से कुछ ही देर में माननीय राष्ट्रपति श्री रामनाथ कोविंद जी का आगमन होगा।
The father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, deeply believed that cleanliness is next to godliness and also the path towards national progress with the greater good of the people of India. He said, we can no more gain God's blessing with an unclean body than with an unclean mind. A clean body cannot reside in an unclean city. The greatest tribute that we can give Bapu is to follow in his footsteps and to follow his mantra of cleanliness. To mark the beginning of the 150th birth anniversary celebrations of Mahatma Gandhi, which also coincide with the 4th anniversary of the launch of the Swachh Bharat mission, Mahatma Gandhi International Sanitation Convention has been organized here in Delhi by the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation.
इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्वच्छता सम्मेलन में लगभग 60 देशों के 150 डेलीगेट्स भाग ले रहे हैं। भारत का स्वच्छ भारत मिशन व्यवहार परिवर्तन का एक बहुत बड़ा उदाहरण है। पूरे विश्व को स्वच्छ भारत की सफलता आकर्षित करती है। कैसे संयुक्त राष्ट्र के सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल की हम पूर्ति कर सकें, इसके लिए मिलकर सभी इस स्वच्छता सम्मेलन में बातचीत करेंगे। इस उद्घाटन सत्र के बाद आज पहले दिन 2 प्लीनरी सेशन का आयोजन होगा। पहले प्लीनरी सेशन का विषय है पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप एंड सैनिटेशन। दूसरे प्लीनरी सेशन का टॉपिक रहेगा इंप्लीमेंटिंग बिहेवियर चेंज एट स्केल। और उसके बाद 6 पैरेलल टेक्निकल सेशंस होंगे, जहां पर आए गए प्रतिनिधि स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप्स पर चर्चा करेंगे, कैसे हम मिलकर भागीदारी कर सकते हैं। अर्बन सैनिटेशन और फीकल स्लज मैनेजमेंट पे बातचीत होगी। जेंडर एंड इंक्लूसिव सैनिटेशन, स्वच्छ भारत मिशन में जेंडर एम्पावरमेंट, वुमेन लीडरशिप पर भी बहुत फोकस रहा है। भारत में 90% से ज्यादा ओपन डेफेकेशन फ्री स्टेटस पा लिया है, लेकिन इसे सस्टेन कैसे करें, यह भी विषय चर्चा का रहेगा। सैनिटेशन एज एवरीवन्स बिजनेस, हम सभी की जिम्मेदारी है कि स्वच्छता से हम जुड़ें और स्वच्छ भारत के लिए, स्वच्छ विश्व के लिए योगदान दें। और अंतिम टॉपिक जो पैरेलल टेक्निकल सेशन में रहेगा, टेक्नोलॉजी एंड इनोवेशन। किस तरह से सैनिटेशन से उद्यमिता जुड़ सकती है, नवाचार से हम स्वच्छ भारत का निर्माण कर सकते हैं।
This convention is a 4-day event that brings together sanitation ministers, sector specialists and other leaders in WASH, which is water, sanitation and hygiene, from all around the world. There is much excitement here for this convention because there will be several takeaways for all the delegates who are attending this program. Sanitation is a huge issue in our country as well in many of the other developing nations. It is a coming together of people who are specialists and who want to bring about behavioral changes in their own countries. The convention will be inaugurated by the Honorable President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind, in just a short while from now. This 4-day convention will culminate on the 2nd of October, Gandhi Jayanti, which is also celebrated in our country as Swachh Bharat Divas. Several mass mobilization events and campaigns are being planned across the states.
और गौरतलब है कि 2 अक्टूबर को जब स्वच्छ भारत दिवस का मुख्य कार्यक्रम होगा, उसमें भारत के माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी शिरकत करेंगे और साथ ही संयुक्त राष्ट्र के सेक्रेटरी जनरल श्री अंतोनियो गुतेरेस भी होंगे। दूसरे दिवस की अगर बात करें 30 सितंबर की, तो वो डेलीगेट्स के लिए बेहद खास रहेगा। आज शाम के कार्यक्रम के बाद विदेशी डेलीगेट्स गुजरात के लिए रवाना होंगे। राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी के जो कार्यस्थल हैं गुजरात में, साबरमती आश्रम, महात्मा मंदिर और साथ ही अहमदाबाद से 80 किलोमीटर दूर पुंसारी गांव जाने का उन्हें मौका मिलेगा। और स्वच्छ भारत में जो नई टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्ट हुई है, जैसे ट्विन पिट टेक्नोलॉजी, 2 गड्ढों का शौचालय, किस तरह से व्यवहार परिवर्तन आया है, कैसे कम्युनिटी मोबिलाइज हुई है, डेलीगेट्स को वहां फील्ड विजिट में देखने का अवसर मिलेगा।
That's right, Amit. In the last 4 years, rural sanitation coverage has made groundbreaking progress from 39% in October 2014 to over 92% today, with behavior change being the key focus of implementation. The success of the Swachh Bharat mission will undoubtedly have a significant impact on the global achievements of Sustainable Development Goals, that is to achieve access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all. The aim of this global convention is to share success stories and lessons from all across the participating nations and to be inspired in order to chart a way forward.
यूरी आफानासियव वहां स्क्रीन पर यूएन रेजिडेंट रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हैं भारत में, और सामने आप देखिए 7 भाषाओं में वेलकम लिखा है। बियावेन्यू फ्रेंच में वेलकम, बैम विंदा पोर्चुगीज में, स्वागतम और स्वागतम के साथ अरेबिक में वेलकम, अरेबिक में वेलकम को एहलान बिक कहते हैं, और वेलकम के नीचे रशियन भाषा में वेलकम, और सबसे आखिरी स्पेनिश भाषा में बियान वेनिदो। और आप सोचते होंगे कि आखिरकार ये अलग अलग भाषाओं में जो लिखा है, इसके पीछे रीजन क्या है। वो इसलिए क्योंकि संयुक्त राष्ट्र की ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेजेस की बात करें तो उसमें फ्रेंच है, चाइनीज है, स्पेनिश है, इंग्लिश है, अरेबिक है, और एक तरह से स्वच्छता का मुद्दा विश्व भर का मुद्दा है, और इसीलिए ये स्वच्छता सम्मेलन सही मायने में अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन है।
In fact, the Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs, have been envisioned as a bold universal agreement to end poverty in all its dimensions and craft an equal, just and secure world for the people, for our planet, and for the prosperity of the world by 2030. Realizing the importance of water and sanitation towards the achievement of this vision has led to a dedicated SDG on water and sanitation, the SDG 6, which aims to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all.
डे 3 की अगर बात करें 1 अक्टूबर, तो प्रवासी भारतीय केंद्र में ही जो प्लीनरी सेशन होगा उसका विषय भी यही है, स्वच्छ भारत और सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंटल गोल्स। एसडीजी 6 की अगर बात करें तो उसकी पूर्ति के लिए स्वच्छता अभियान का सफल होना बहुत जरूरी है। 1 अक्टूबर को मिनिस्टीरियल डायलॉग भी होगा। हम देख सकते हैं उमा भारती जी, केंद्रीय स्वच्छता एवं पेयजल मंत्री, साथ ही श्री हरदीप सिंह पुरी, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट इंडिपेंडेंट चार्ज हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन अफेयर्स। और गौरतलब है कि इस सम्मेलन में 55 से भी ज्यादा देशों के सैनिटेशन मिनिस्टर्स भाग ले रहे हैं। श्री रमेश जिगाजी नागी, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट ड्रिंकिंग वाटर एंड सैनिटेशन, मंच पर अपना स्थान ग्रहण करते हुए और कुछ ही देर में महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी का आगमन होगा, जो इस अवसर पर एक ई बुक भी रिलीज करेंगे। 1917 में राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी जी ने चंपारण, बिहार से भारत की धरती पर सत्याग्रह का आह्वान किया था और अब स्वतंत्र भारत में सत्याग्रह से स्वच्छाग्रह का सफर भारत को तय करना है। माननीय राष्ट्रपति श्री रामनाथ कोविंद जी स्थल पर पहुंच चुके हैं।
Honorable Shri Ramnath Kovind ji, President of the Republic of India, Sushri Uma Bharti ji, Minister of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Government of India, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Minister of State with Independent Charge for Housing and Urban Affairs, India, Mr. Ramesh Jigajinagi, Minister of State, Drinking Water and Sanitation, Mr. Parameshwaran Iyer, Secretary, Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, India, and Mr. D.S. Mishra, Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, India. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and namaskar. A very warm welcome to each one of you to the Mahatma Gandhi International Sanitation Convention. It is indeed a privilege to welcome this gathering of rather illustrious persons, mostly sanitation ministers and sector specialists from India and across the globe, to this convention. To set the ball rolling for the inaugural plenary, may I request Mr. Parameshwaran Iyer, Secretary, Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, to deliver the welcome address, please.
Honorable President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind ji, Honorable Union Minister for Drinking Water and Sanitation, Sushri Uma Bharti ji, Honorable Ministers of Sanitation from across the world, Honorable Union Minister of State, Independent in Charge, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Honorable Union Minister of State, Drinking Water and Sanitation, Government of India, Shri Ramesh Jigajinagi ji, Mr. D.S. Mishra, Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, heads and members of delegations, excellencies, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome all of you to India, the land of unity in diversity, and to the Mahatma Gandhi International Sanitation Convention. It is an honor to have seen here senior ministers and sanitation experts from around the world. My gratitude to the Honorable President of India for joining us and for his support to this convention, which is a testament to India's commitment to sustainable sanitation for all. The convention is aptly named after the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, who famously said back in colonial India that sanitation was more important than political independence. Gandhiji's vision of an open defecation-free India is now being translated into reality under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. This convention, with over 200 international participants from 68 countries and with 53 ministers of sanitation from around the world, is one of the largest such gatherings ever held. It aims to draw from experiences and good practices from the world over and address critical issues for meeting Sustainable Development Goal 6.2 on universal sanitation. I'm confident that the discussions here will contribute to developing a roadmap towards achieving sanitation for all in the coming years. Most of the global sanitation knowledge on sanitation is actually available in this room. The convention would greatly benefit from your experiences on what works and what doesn't. And everything learned here from what it takes to achieve sustainable sanitation at scale is relevant to our common challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, over the coming 4 days, you will listen to some of the senior-most leaders on sanitation, including the Honorable President of India, present here today, the Honorable Prime Minister of India on October 2nd, who put sanitation on the national agenda like never before in our country of 1.3 billion, and made sanitation what we like to call a Jan Andolan, a people's movement. The participants will also undertake a Gandhi Trail to the state of Gujarat, designed to provide exposure to Mahatma Gandhi's legacy and vision. The 4 plenaries will see the Finance Minister of India, sanitation ministers, global experts, and sanitation practitioners present their experiences of tackling the menace of insanitary conditions and open defecation in their own countries. The parallel technical sessions this afternoon will provide participants an opportunity to dive deep into various elements of sanitation policy and practice in India from another country, and then listen to the global experience on that theme. The ministerial dialogues will see participating ministers deliberate on key elements of sanitation policy, financing, behavior change at scale, and other important issues. I particularly request you not to miss the specially designed digital exhibition on global sanitation, both here at the PBK, the Pravasi Bhartiya Kendra, which is where we are holding this event, and at the Rashtrapati Bhavan Cultural Center, which will be on the 2nd of October. The cultural evening in this venue on the 1st of October will provide you a glimpse of India's glorious music and culture, shaped by a history that is several thousand years old. The convention will culminate with an address from our Honorable Prime Minister on October 2nd, the 4th anniversary of the Swachh Bharat mission, and also Gandhi Jayanti. He will be joined by the Secretary General of the United Nations on that occasion. I wish you all a fruitful and productive convention and a very pleasant stay in the sunny and hospitable land of India, and would once again like to express my gratitude to the Honorable President of India for sparing his valuable time to address this August international gathering of the sanitation leaders of the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Iyer. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in our midst Mr. Yuri Afanasiev, UN Resident Coordinator. May I request you, sir, to please come up and address the gathering.
Honorable President of the Republic of India, honorable ministers on the dais, representatives of the Government of India, and governments from over 50 countries around the world, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to join you here today to send a message from my Secretary General, Antonio Gutierrez, who indeed, as was just announced, will join you on Tuesday and will deliver his remarks to you on that occasion. At the threshold of Mahatma Gandhi's 150th birth anniversary and the conclusion of 4 years of Swachh Bharat, I am honored to speak to you today about one of the biggest initiatives for social change that has been undertaken anywhere in the world. Swachh Bharat was always more than a scheme. It was a movement for behavioral change. And as we know, behavioral change is the most difficult thing to tackle. It demonstrates an exemplary partnership between all levels of government, as well as civil society, non-governmental partners, and citizens at large. This convergence of political leadership and action has led to about 400 million persons, think of that number, 400 million persons, being provided toilet access and sanitation just over the last 4 years. Both in its scale and example, the mission serves as an important model with lessons for the rest of the world. In 4 years, India has managed to shift from being part of the global problem to being an important part of the global solution. This is an inspiring achievement given the shortness of time. I congratulate and commend the government of India for spearheading, under the leadership of the Prime Minister, the Global Sanitation Challenge, and for bringing the international community here today. That Delhi is convening this international convention is only logical. While India accounted for more than half of all open defecation and sanitation challenges in the world in 2014, barely when I was scheduled to arrive here. Today, that number has fallen dramatically to about 20% and continues to fall. It is the commitment of the Prime Minister and the government that India will be open defecation-free by end of next year. Sanitation coverage has doubled since the launch of the mission, and today stands at roughly 90% of the country. 74 million toilets have been built across rural India, and over 450,000 villages, 450 districts, and 20 states and union territories have been, to date, declared open defecation-free. Last year, a World Bank-supported study found that about 93% of the Indian population have been provided new access and are using their toilets. For the first time ever, a sanitation program in India is measuring outcomes, not outputs, in order to assess the real change. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is a declaration of our interdependence as a community of nations. It acknowledges the integrated and indivisible nature of the 17 goals and recognizes the need to address these interlinkages fully to achieve their aims. Access to safe drinking water for all and universal access to quality hygiene and sanitation facilities is not only the core of SDG 6, as was just mentioned by the Honorable Secretary. It continues the foundation for the entire Sustainable Development Agenda. Interventions in sustainable sanitation infrastructure and practices can positively impact outcomes on poverty alleviation and enhance health and well-being, as well as other targets. It is estimated that the rural component of Swachh Bharat mission will prevent more than 300,000 deaths from diarrhea and malnutrition between 2014 and 2019, a period of just 5-6 years. Better sanitation in communities, schools, and households can get more children in school, empower women and promote equality, have dividends for dignified employment, build clean and sustainable cities and human settlements, and conserve ecosystems on land. Multidimensional poverty, which has, by the way, according to our recent analysis together with Oxford University, which came down in India from 690 million in 2005 to an estimated 310 million today, is alleviated also by good sanitation. And evidence tells us that sanitation challenges affect most severely the poorest quintiles and communities in our populations. The UN estimates in 2017 that due to Swachh Bharat, every household in an open defecation-free village in India will save around $700 annually in their income, avoiding unnecessary health costs and risks. Eradicating open defecation can improve nutrition outcomes for children. The sanitation economy has immense dividends for growth. India is not only home to 1/6 of humanity, it is today poised at the convergence of massive economic growth and rising aspirations. This country is the incubator of some of the world's largest and most ambitious development programs, and a powerful advocate for sustainable development. At a time when the climate action agenda needs more than ever the renewed will of the global community, India has stepped up, including with these initiatives, to reiterate its support for the landmark climate change commitments. As recently as a few days ago, the External Affairs Minister in the General Assembly in New York has offered India's leadership, global leadership, and issued strong commitments for climate targets. Whether it's in the visionary initiatives on sanitation or housing, financial and digital inclusion, health protection and energy, India is the 1.3 billion strong hub for innovation, sustainable development in the world today. It would be an understatement on my part to say that India will be the defining development story of the first half of the 21st century. Around the world today, unfortunately, more than 2 billion people still lack access to safe water, and more than 4.5 billion people lack adequate sanitation services. Each year, over 800,000 people die from diseases caused by unsafe water, inadequate sanitation, and poor hygiene. But when I travel around India and encounter the iconic image of Mahatma Gandhi's glasses everywhere, in towns, cities, and villages, it signals to me and others the pace at which development can catalyze aspiration, even at a country as large and complex as India is. We are standing today at the threshold of an unprecedented opportunity. When I consider the remarkable achievements of India in this area, I'm encouraged that this political will and these innovations can drive a sectoral transformation in a country of this size and in the rest of the world. I am very privileged to be serving here in this country at this defining moment, not only as a witness to India's progress, but because I know this: if India achieves the SDGs, the world will and can achieve them as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Afanasyev, for presenting the United Nations perspective. Gives me great pleasure to invite Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri, Minister of State with Independent Charge, Housing and Urban Affairs, India, to address everyone. Mr. Puri, please.
Honorable President Shri Ramnath Kovind, my senior colleagues in the Council of Ministers, Umaji and Rameshji, my colleagues and friends, the secretaries in the two ministries dealing with sanitation, Durga Shankar Mishra ji and Parameshwar Iyer ji, the visiting ministers from over 50 countries, representatives from 68 countries, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Let me at the outset try in my own limited way to provide a context to the celebrations that we are launching today, Mr. President. This is the 4th anniversary of the Swachh Bharat mission. It is also the commencement of celebrations for the 150th anniversary of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. The UN adopted the Sustainable Development Goals, or Agenda 30, in September 2015, but I think it bears mention that India had adopted many of the Sustainable Development Goals almost immediately after the government of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi was elected in May 2014. In fact, most of the flagship programs that the Prime Minister launched in the urban sector, of which the Swachh Bharat or sanitation mission is the fulcrum, along with the Amrut scheme, which seeks to provide water tap connections and sewage treatment facilities in 500 Indian cities, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, or the Affordable Housing Program, which will produce 11 million homes by 2022, and the Smart Cities Program, all of which collectively constitute the most ambitious and comprehensive program for planned urbanization undertaken anywhere in the world. Most of these schemes were announced early in 2015 and had been formalized by June 2015, well before the UN adopted the Sustainable Development Goals in September of that year. My friend Yuri, who represents the United Nations with great distinction, mentioned that if India achieves the SDGs will succeed. I tried to put that proposition somewhat differently. The previous set of Millennium Development Goals succeeded because one large, we called it a developing country, China, succeeded in lifting hundreds of millions out of poverty with a little help from countries like India and other large developing countries. The Sustainable Development Goals, the successor set of goals, will succeed because India will succeed. And here, let me share some statistics so that there is no doubt, not even a residue of doubt, as to how India is faring. When the Prime Minister announced from the ramparts of the Red Fort on 15th August 2014, a few months after he had been elected to office with a thumping majority, something that happened after, I think, 37 years, he said that he would like to see India completely open defecation free by the time we celebrate the Mahatma's 150th birth anniversary on 2nd October 2019. Goal 6 of the Sustainable Development Goals, and Goal 6.2 in particular, aims at a target achievement by 2030. And I would like to share with you what we have already done, because we propose to meet that target 100% by 2019, 2nd October. As my friend Yuri said, and as Parameshwar Iyer said, this is no longer a project of the government of the country. This has truly become a project of the people. This has become and is widely called a Jan Andolan, or a people's movement. It has also been described as a Swachhta revolution. And people from all parts of the country, from all walks of life and ages, have been working on realizing this dream. And as the Prime Minister said in a communication, due to the blessings and participation of our citizens, over 8.5 crore toilets have already been constructed. This is 85 million. Today, more than 90% Indians have access to toilets, as compared to what was around 40% in 2014 when this program started. 425,000 villages, 430 districts, 2,800 cities and towns, and 19 states and urban union territories have been declared open defecation free. India is fast reaching a stage where no woman will have to go through the indignity of lacking access to safe sanitation, and our cities will be healthier. A reference was made to the health benefits of sanitation. The WHO has stated that the Swachh Bharat mission could potentially save over 300,000 lives in the times to come. Mr. President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, when we started this campaign under the determination and visionary leadership of the Prime Minister in 2014, we also had a little, if I may call it, anxiety. Because the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, had actually signaled as long back as 1916, when he was speaking at the Banaras Hindu College in what is called Varanasi today, that he regarded sanitation to be even more important than political freedom. And this was a year before he started the civil disobedience campaign from Champaran, which resulted in social mobilization, and the freedom movement gathered traction because it was no longer an elitist movement, it involved the people. Much the same way as Swachhata has now become. I refer to it as a Jan Andolan or a people's movement. During the freedom movement, we described those who indulged in civil disobedience and who carried out a non-violent campaign against the might of the empire. We used to call them Satyagrahis. Those who are participating now in the Swachhata movement are called Swachhagrahis. So I think the lexicon also is catching up. I want to conclude by saying that this Swachh Bharat mission is, as has been said by the previous speakers, not just an infrastructure project. The building of toilets, I gave you statistics, you just have to go around the country and you see the phenomenal program. It is something more. It involves paradigmatic shift because it involves behavioral change, and that is where the good news is staring us in the face. I cannot recall any political leader in India after the Mahatma. In fact, I also wanted to say that to you that we take great pride in owning up the Mahatma because he was as Indian as they come, but he also learned from the experience which he had in other countries. My South African friends occasionally have fun with me. They tell me that you sent us a English-educated barrister and we sent you back the Mahatma. We are grateful for that extra contribution which came, but I think the Mahatma's message is now a universal one. It is not an Indian experience. And I have absolutely no doubt that when we complete this campaign by 2nd October 2019 and well before that, the Indian experience will provide a template for many of our friends and development partners in other parts of the world as a possible template which they could consider for their own thing. So I join others in wishing you all very successful deliberations, and we hope to learn greatly from the exchange of views and experiences that will be outlined here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those wonderful words, Puriji. May I now call upon Sushri Uma Bharti ji, Minister of Drinking Water and Sanitation, India, to please make her speech.
Honorable President of India, Honorable Ministers of Sanitation from across the world, my colleague in the Union Council of Ministers, Sri Hardeep Singh ji, and Honorable Minister of State of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Sri Ramesh ji, our Secretary of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Sri Parmeshwar Iyer ji, the Honorable Secretary of Housing and Urban Affairs, Sri Doordarshan Mishra ji, all the respected global sanitation experts, friends from print and electronic media, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome you all in India and in the Mahatma Gandhi International Sanitation Convention, MGISC 2018. We are very encouraged to see such a great presence of Honorable Ministers of Sanitation from across the globe, high-level experts in sanitation and hygiene, and global media and civil society representatives from around the world gathered here today. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we have a full and challenging agenda over the next 4 days. The main message from the convention we want to give this morning is that sanitation matters. It matters for poverty reduction and sustainable development. It matters for economic growth and combating environmental degradation. We urgently need a long-term solution to the world's sanitation needs, and this can only be achieved through working together. While this event is a convention of sanitation experts, I will call this a ceremony because today we celebrate achievement, the massive stride made by all of us towards achieving universal safe sanitation. But let us also be reminded that yet today millions of people around the world still lack access to sanitation, resulting in untimely deaths, chronic disease, missed education, and reduced productivity. We must tackle weak funding, planning, capacity in governments of sanitation services as a top priority. The establishment of Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 6, to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all, reflects the increased attention on water and sanitation issues in the global political agenda. To achieve this, we will have to change the way we implement and manage sanitation programs. New partnerships are needed involving stakeholders within and beyond the sanitation sector to address these fundamental issues, balance competing needs, and act to eliminate open defecation from the world. As the Minister of Drinking Water and Sanitation, I feel really proud to share that India is on the track to achieve open defecation from free status by 2019. As my honorable colleague Hardeep Puri was saying, honorable guest, our Prime Minister, when he declared from the Red Fort on 15th August 2014 that India will be ODF by 2019 October, nobody could believe this, because till that date the achievement was less than 40%, and nobody could believe that this miracle can take place in 5 years. But it did happen. It is going to happen, and it is about to happen. Actually, it has almost happened. India is almost open defecation free. Only we are collecting the numbers. And to achieve this goal, everybody in this country participated. NGOs, common people, men and women, media, all the political parties, all the chief ministers, and the Prime Minister himself took the broomstick in his hand. And that is why the miracle happened. So the miracle is happening, and it has already happened, and I am correcting the numbers. The number of people practicing open defecation free in rural India has gone down from 550 million in 2014 to less than 100 million today. 25 states, close to 500 districts, and about 500,000 villages have been declared open defecation free as we speak today. All villages along the banks of the river Ganga has also been declared ODF, open defecation free. Most of you must be aware that the Government of India launched the Swachh Bharat Mission SBM on 2nd October 2014 with an aim to build a clean and open defecation free India by 2nd October 2019, the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation. At the time of the launch, the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi gave the clarion call for a mass movement, and a movement that will engage everyone in the task of cleaning their own homes, working places, villages, cities, and surroundings. Our government recognizes that sanitation and cleanliness are not only about constructing toilets. We need to instill the behavior of maintaining our surroundings clean and beautiful, recognizing the need to preserve the sanctity and cleanliness of our natural endowments and places of cultural heritage like places of worship, heritage sites, and beaches. We have identified the iconic places of the country and intend to cover them under the Swachh Iconic Place program. A clean India is the most profound statement we can make to the world, which is keenly watching us. Now the emphasis is on the transition from ODF to ODF plus. That is the biggest challenge now. The government will focus on ODF plus aspects like solid liquid waste management and behavioral change to ensure that villages which have already attained ODF status move up to the ODF plus category. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable President, I am sure that during your stay in India and field visit to Ahmedabad to visit the places the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, lived and worked, you will get to see and experience the energy and passion that this program has brought in to the implementation of this mission. I am also confident that your active participation in the plenary sessions, thematic and interactive discussions, ministerial dialogues, side events, it extra will contribute to the success of this convention and will make a valuable contribution to the promotion of joint efforts to achieve sustainable development and use of sources for the benefit of this future generation. And again, I will repeat that it was really a miracle, because it's very easy, though it is challenging, but it's very easy to change in the infrastructure, to bring any change in the infrastructure. But it's really difficult to change a structured mind, and that is what our Prime Minister did. That is what our government did. Jai Hind, Jai Swachhata.
Thank you very much, Umaji, for those really inspiring words. Ladies and gentlemen, in April 2018, to commemorate 101 years of the Champaran Satyagraha, the Swachh Bharat Mission paid a tribute to Mahatma Gandhi through a week-long People's Movement campaign, which saw thousands of foot soldiers of the mission carry out sanitation interventions in the state of Bihar. An e-book titled Champaran Ka Swachha Grahe was put together documenting this campaign. Today, it gives me great pleasure to request Sushri Uma Bharti ji, Minister of Drinking Water and Sanitation, to do the honors of presenting the first copy of this book, Champaran Ka Swachha Grahe, to the Honorable President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind ji. Thank you. It is indeed a matter of great privilege and good fortune to have the Honorable President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind ji, blessing this convention. May I request you, sir, to address the gathering as well as inaugurate the Mahatma Gandhi International Sanitation Convention.
Ministers and delegates from 68 participating countries, Union Minister for Drinking Water and Sanitation, Sushri Uma Bharti, Minister of State, Independent Charge, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Sri Hardeep Singh Puri, Minister of State, Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Sri Ramesh C. Jigjinagi, UN Resident Representative, Mr. Yuri of Nasiev, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Namaskar, good morning, and a very warm welcome to all of you. I am happy to be here to inaugurate the Mahatma Gandhi International Sanitation Convention. The timing, theme, and setting of this convention are apt. 4 days from now, on October 2nd, we will formally commence the commemoratives of the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, and this convention is an appropriate process by which to welcome that remarkable event. Mahatma Gandhi was an early proponent of the universal right to sanitation. He saw it as intrinsic to the quest for human freedom and dignity for all those who live on our shared planet. For us in India, Mahatma Gandhi was, still remains, and always will be a moral exemplar, a role model and a guiding light. It was with his principles in our hearts and minds that on October 2nd, 2014, the Government of India inaugurated the Swachh Bharat campaign to institutionalize modern sanitation systems and remove the curse of open defecation from India. In the past 4 years, in keeping with the traditions and teachings of Gandhiji, I am happy to note that Swachh Bharat has become a mass movement with domestic and international participation. Ladies and gentlemen, many may wonder what Mahatma Gandhi had to do with an issue such as sanitation. He led India and indeed South Asia in the largely peaceful and non-violent battle for independence and for freedom from imperialism and colonialism. He was an inspiration for other societies and nations in Asia, Africa, and Latin America as they too fought to overcome colonial oppression and stand on their own feet as masters of their destinies. To this day, decades after he left us, Mahatma Gandhi is still a symbol of hope in societies where he lived, in societies that have looked upon him with admiration, and even in societies that in this time may have opposed him. Whether it is the struggle for ethnic or racial parity or for civil liberties for ordinary men and women, wherever they may be, Mahatma Gandhi is human civilization's talisman for all times to come. Yet, for Gandhiji, political independence and self-rule were only part of the larger enterprise of human freedom. For him, the dignity of each human life, of each individual, was of the essence. He strived not just for a free India, but a better and a just India, and for a better and a just world. In his perceptive manner, he made an early link between sanitation and the wider concept of freedom and dignity. Writing in Navajivan, a newspaper he edited, Gandhiji said as far back as 1925, I quote, "A laboratory must be as clean as a drawing room." The cause of many of our diseases is the condition of our laboratories and our bad habits of disposing of excreta anywhere and everywhere. I therefore believe in the absolute necessity of a clean place for answering the call of nature and clean articles for use at the home, unquote. 12 years later, in 1937, a fellow Indian living in a village in what is today the state of West Bengal, in the eastern part of our country, wrote to Mahatma Gandhi. He asked him to define his ideal village. The response was telling. An ideal village, Gandhiji wrote in reply, will be so constructed as to lend itself the perfect sanitation. The very first problem the village worker will solve is its sanitation, unquote. It takes a visionary and enlightened mind to value human freedom in terms of everyday access to sanitation facilities. It takes a visionary and enlightened mind to extend the definition of politics and of political activism to providing sanitation for all. Mahatma Gandhi was such a visionary and enlightened mind. We are all fortunate to be living in his extended shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it was 3 years ago, in September 2015, that the 193 member states of the United Nations General Assembly resolved to transform our world. They unanimously adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The 2030 Agenda is a call to action for our people, our planet, and our collective prosperity. The nations of the earth have committed themselves to end poverty in all its forms, to put the world on a sustainable and resilient path, and to ensure that no one will be left behind. This promise that no one will be left behind is particularly important in the context of enhancing access to and eliminating inequalities in sanitation services. Achieving universal access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene by 2030 is a major challenge in many parts of the world. Drinking water, sanitation, and hygiene are central to Sustainable Development Goal 6, especially targets 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3. They are also essential to the health and well-being of our people as envisaged in Sustainable Development Goal 3. Target 6.2 of the Sustainable Development Goals calls for countries to end open defecation, ensure everyone has access to a basic toilet, and put in place systems for safe management of excreta. Target 6.2 also highlights the importance of hygiene and urges special attention to the needs of women and girls. Improving access to sanitation and eradication open defecation have enormous implications. They are critical social and economic investments. I have been told that washing one's hands with soap, especially after contact with human waste, can reduce diarrheal diseases by 40% and respiratory infections by 30%. It is worth noting that diarrhea and respiratory infections cause among the highest number of child deaths in India. And children who survive frequent diarrhea attacks are nevertheless vulnerable to malnutrition and infections like pneumonia. Malnutrition in turn affects cognitive development and learning in school. Years later, this has a negative impact on job and employment prospects. Clearly, the absence of a sustainable toilet and suitable toilet and appropriate hygiene and sanitation practices can lead to lifelong disadvantages. Therefore, for us in India as elsewhere, a mission such as Swachh Bharat is critical to securing our human capital and our demographic dividend and to giving our children a better future. In the case of girl children and women, the situation is even more acute. Absence of immediate toilet facilities at home, in the workplace, and perhaps this is most vital, at school, place an unacceptable burden on our daughters. There are health problems that arise in addition to the risk to personal dignity and physical safety in the search for something as basic as a clean toilet. No young girl should have to give up school only because a girl's toilet is not available. Such an occurrence would be a scar on our collective conscience. Gandhiji would not forgive us if we did not make every effort to correct such injustice. And it is such situations and such wrongs that Swachh Bharat and every one of its foot soldiers, be they tens of thousands of dedicated sanitation workers, millions of self-motivated volunteers, or senior government officials, are determined to set right. Here I must commend our Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi, and the Government of India for making sanitation a national priority. Swachh Bharat literally means Clean India. In the 4 years that it has been in operation, the Swachh Bharat mission has sought to create a cleaner India with more efficient waste management, cleaner public and private places, improved sanitation, universal use of toilets, and so on. Even so, Swachh Bharat is not just about physical cleaning. It is as much about a spiritual and social cleansing and reawakening. When it completes its mission, it will provide every one of India's 1.3 billion people, that is 1/6 of humanity, an opportunity for a dramatic leap. The Swachh Bharat mission, the focused sanitation effort, and the broader sustainable development goals represent a once in many generations movement. We are that chosen generation. The relentless and strenuous labors of the past 4 years have led India to significant milestones. Sanitation coverage was at 39% at the start of the Swachh Bharat mission in 2014. Today, the figure is almost 95%. I am given to understand that as of this morning, 503 of India's 699 districts have been declared open defecation free. 3,622 of India's 4,041 urban local bodies have been declared open defecation free. And 487,445 villages have been declared open defecation free. About 85 million rural households and 6 million urban households have begun to use toilets for the first time. Swachh Bharat has helped them renounce the troubling practice of open defecation. Ladies and gentlemen, India has moved ahead with grit, determination, and unusual urgency. Swachh Bharat is a revolution playing out in real time, as an instrument of mass mobilization, as a people's movement, and as a national goal towards which there is near total commitment. Swachh Bharat represents, for me, the spirit of our independence movement. I imagine Mahatma Gandhi would have been proud of the millions of ordinary men and women who are the true stars of this mission. No doubt his blessings are with us as India strives to eliminate open defecation in its entirety by October 2nd, 2019. This is the best 150th birthday gift we can give Gandhiji. Ladies and gentlemen, the Swachh Bharat mission has been shaped by among the world's leading specialists in sanitation, some of whom are in this room and in fact on the stage. It has been scripted by common Indians of uncommon quality, men and women of rare courage, of foresight, social empathy, and civic pride. Individually and collectively, they have worked to free their neighborhoods, their villages, and their towns and cities from open defecation. Inch by inch, day by day, person by person, family by family, they have persuaded fellow citizens to adopt behavior change. Our sanitation champions come from all regions of the country, all sections of the society, all communities, and all social and economic groups. It was my privilege to meet and honor some of them in Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh in 2017 at the inauguration of the Swachhata Hi Seva, that is Cleanliness as Service campaign. I realized then that this program had created millions of grassroots enablers. Mahatma Gandhi gave our country satyagrahis, warriors of truth. Swachh Bharat has given us Swachhagrahis, that is warriors of sanitation. Our Swachhagrahis are crafting a remarkable legacy. A recent World Health Organization study estimates that Swachh Bharat would have saved 300,000 lives during the course of the program itself. In the long run, it will save 150,000 lives a year. Few social investments are as beneficial. According to UNICEF, which has done a cost-benefit analysis of the Swachh Bharat mission, every rupee invested in improving sanitation will eventually save Indian families and Indian society between 4 and 5 rupees. Friends, one of the remarkable attributes of Gandhiji was that he was both a fervent nationalist as an internationalist. In my travels abroad as the President of India, I have been touched by the warmth and respect people from diverse countries show for him. Statues and memorials depicting him are being erected to this day. Mahatma Gandhi thought for India and he thought for the world. In keeping with India's ancient wisdom, he taught us to see the world as our family and to make universal well-being the end goal of all of our domestic and national efforts. As such, Swachh Bharat is at once a voice from the soul of India and a commitment made at the United Nations while accepting the challenge of sustainable development goals, as well as a template for partner nations for whom our experience can be of any benefit. Ladies and gentlemen, our successes with the Swachh Bharat, our attainments in the sphere of sanitation, our methods and our mechanisms are available to all of you, to all the friendly countries present here and others as well, to use as you deem necessary. In the end, access to improved sanitation is not a target and a goal for one country or the other. It is the interlinked destiny of humankind. In this regard, and based on our experience here in India, I would like to suggest 5 important themes that countries may choose to adopt while meeting the problem of insufficient sanitation. We could call this the fivefold path to sanitation. 1. Ensure people lead the planning, implementation and management of sanitation programs. Number 2, use smart and affordable technologies for effective and efficient service delivery. Number 3, eliminate all forms of inequalities in service delivery. Number 4, create innovative financing instruments to fund and sustain the sanitation movement. And lastly, number 5, develop capacities within the government to plan, implement and monitor sanitation programs. Please do keep these 5 themes in mind as you discuss over the coming 4 days pathways to achieving holistic sanitation and inculcating in every individual the sense of civic behavior that would allow us to maintain cleanliness in our surroundings. I am confident that the sessions and proceedings of this convention will result in actionable ideas and in a powerful statement towards our combined resolve to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, and particularly Sustainable Development Goal 6. With those words, I wish all of you, the delegates and participants at the Mahatma Gandhi International Sanitation Convention, the very best in your noble and history-making mission. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for those words of wisdom and bringing Mahatma Gandhi's vision into focus as well as inaugurating this convention. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to bring the inaugural plenary session of the Mahatma Gandhi International Sanitation Convention to a close, I'd like to request Mr. D.S. Mishra, Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, to propose a vote of thanks.
Honorable President of India, Honorable Ministers on Dais, Honorable ministers from different countries who are participating in this convention, participants from different international organizations, all the delegates, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the Honorable President of India for having found time to come and address and inaugurate this very, very important 4 days event, which is culminating in starting the 150th birth anniversary of the Mahatma. Sir, your address, and ultimately you put this in the whole capsule of 5 mantras, the 5 themes to this convention for deliberation over the next few days, will be a guiding factor. So our gratitude for that, sir. In fact, when Honorable Prime Minister announced from the ramparts of Red Fort on 15th August 2014 that the greatest tribute to this father of the nation on his 150th anniversary, that is 2nd October 2019, would be to give this country a clean, Swachh Bharat on 2nd October 2019. At that time, the whole country, different segments had various kinds of doubts. But now, when we have travelled 4 years from then, under the great leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, today the greatest of the cynics also have faith and belief that things have changed and they are changing towards making this country completely free of open defecation, free of the garbage by 2nd October 2019, when we give this great gift to the Mahatma. Just to share statistics from the urban areas to which I am responsible, we had target of 6.6 million toilets, individual toilets. We have already crossed the figure of 6 million, more than 90%. For the community and the public toilets, we had the target of 5.5 million. We have already crossed 0.45 million, more than 90%. We already have more than 20 states in the Union of India declared their urban areas completely open defecation free. And we have, out of nearly 4,500 cities across the country, more than 3,007 have been declared open defecation free. That's a big achievement, looks so humongous. But much bigger challenge in the urban areas than making this place open defecation free is the garbage, making the city completely clean. When we started in 2014, we had only 14% of the urban garbage being processed. And this 14% is today, this is around 80 million tons of garbage per annum being created in the urban areas. Today we have achieved the figure of nearly 37% is being scientifically processed. 80% of it is being lifted door to door. More than 45% is getting segregated into the wet and the dry waste. This has happened not because of the government program. This has not happened because of us. Our Prime Minister gave us this mantra that this is not a government program, this is a Jan Andolan. This is a people's movement. People should realize, and today I can say it with full confidence, that no segment of the society, whether it is spiritual, sports, cultural, music, movie, sport, any field, common man, any field, everybody is now part of the Swachh Bharat movement across the country. And that is what is making it possible. Today we are confident. We have already put in place that this garbage-free country, we will make it completely garbage-free by 2nd October 2019. It's already, everything is in order and things are happening very fast. And when we are doing all this, I would like to congratulate and thank Ministry of drinking water and sanitation to have brought more than 50 countries, the experts, the honorable ministers with so much of experience and knowledge on this platform, and to share their experience from which we will be greatly benefited, and you will also carry something from us, the way we have been doing, what we are doing, and how we are taking this resolve, making it possible on the ground. So I would like to thank all of you to be here, and would like to thank our honorable ministers, Madam Uma Bharti ji, Minister of Drinking Water and Sanitation, my Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs, Minister of State for Drinking Water and Sanitation, and Professor Iyer ji for addressing this, the UN representative, and all of you to be part of this great change the whole humankind, the mankind on the globe is seeing towards making our place better place to live by having a better sanitation, which directly impacts the economic activities, social activities, environmental activities, and overall our living. So once again, I would like to thank our Honorable President of India for being here, addressing us and blessing us for a very, very important, eventful, and a very successful deliberations over the next 4 days. Thanks a lot, sir. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mishra. May I now request everyone to please rise for the National Anthem.
सत्य शिव सुंदर सफल, सत्य शिव सुंदर सफल, सत्य शिव सुंदर सफल, सत्य शिव सुंदर सफल। जय इंडिया, जय भारतम। का मान लेकर, शून्य का सम्मान लेकर, प्रजातांत्रिक ज्ञान लेकर, अमन का अरमान लेकर, विश्व में खिलता कमल जय इंडिया, जय भारतम, जय इंडिया, जय भारतम। अध्यात्म का उद्गम यहाँ, तहजीब का संगम यहाँ, जो भी असंभव विश्व में संभव यहाँ, संभव यहाँ, शांति सुख समता सकल जय इंडिया, जय भारतम, जय इंडिया, जय भारतम। सपने करें सरगोशियां, खुलती हुई खामोशियां, अब क्या ज़मीं क्या आसमां, उड़ने को आतुर पीढ़ियां, हर बात पे करता अमल जय इंडिया, जय भारतम, न्यू इंडिया, नव भारतम, जय इंडिया, जय भारतम, न्यू इंडिया, नव भारतम, जय इंडिया, जय भारतम।
सैटरडे जुबली में देखिए।
मिल जाते हैं कुछ ऑफिसर्स हमें, थोड़े पागल थोड़े अड़ियल, जिनके दिमाग में सिर्फ देश और देशभक्ति घूमती रहती है। ये देश के लिए मरना नहीं चाहते बल्कि जीना चाहते हैं।